This is okay. This is Zongpu Yang, and I'm from the UPM University Program Manager, and my topic is digital human rights protection in the e-government system in China. The we talk about human rights, digital human rights, and personal digital human rights and protection in the e-government system. So. My co-author is my supervisor and Dr. Ku Hasinita and my supervisor committee. Okay, let's in this presentation I have six part of it. And the first introduction introduce about the background. Okay, let me begin my introduction. The Chinese when we talk about the Chinese e-government system, it's a more and more potent, more and more popular in China. As before, as we know, the e-government system is about a website. But now we use website, we use smartphone, the telephone, to get many public services from the government and actually along with when we use our e-government system, there has many things happened about our information. So there are some issues were coming. For example, who can people speak freely online? Is their personal information safety for ours? Can the challenges decisions made this challenging decision can be changed by the government, or is our human rights is be protected online? Is all. So that is my point, background of my research. Okay, the second part is about the theory analysis. Okay, this part of paper I use human rights theory to rethink digital human governance. The main idea is simple. When governments use algorithm and data systems, efficiency shouldn't be only goal. Fairness, non-discrimination, and the ability to correct mistake matters just as much. People from this perspective, the citizens are not just a user of online services, but rights holders. Because we are not. We can protect our. We need to protect our human rights. The government is have responsibility to protect our rights, our digital human rights, our information, our free to speech like that. Okay, the literature part provided a lot of literature about four parts. That's about trust and adoption in e-government, transparency and trust, the big data governance and algorithmic decision making, China's focused digital governance and trust governance infrastructure. In conclusion, two claims that were employed in the subsequent stage of the policy analysis are supported by the literature. The first is that citizen trust is sensitive to their perceived security, privacy, and institutional integrity when it comes to the provision of digital services. The second is that while transparency may be necessary, it is insufficient to stop harm or preserve legitimacy in the absence of reliable accountability and participation system. Okay. Next is I draw a policy framework. It's about the rights the rights-based approach to digital governance means we wouldn't treat transparency, accountability, and trust as separated ideas. They need to work together. Transparency is about letting people know how their data is collected, shared, and used in our algorithm in our ecosystem. But simply publishing information isn't enough. Uh, mm, People must actually be able to understand what's happening and respond if something goes wrong. In other words, transparency can be particularly and meaningful. Accountability is turns transparency into real responsibilities. It makes clear who is charged of managing data, building algorithm, and fixing mistake. There should be a audit review processes, and the complete channel so that when rights was affected, institutions must respond. Okay, that's trust. Trust. Then people use uh, uh, the ecosystem because they trust government. The trust then doesn't come just from the making services convenient. It goes when people see that decision can be challenged and and that authorities taken responsibility. When transparency and accountability to working together, they reduce power imbalances in data-driven government and help protected rights in everyday administrative practice. Okay. Uh, next part uh, next part survey I provided the policy gaps and some policy cases illustration. Okay, in China, uh, actually nowadays China passed more data protection laws and invested heavily in e-government. There's still a big gap between the rules and between rules of paper and between rule and law that and what happened in practice, what happened for our lives. Um, for me problem stand out. People often don't know how the data is shared across departments. Because for me, when I use the e-commerce system in China, I have lots of problem. Because I remember when I make purchase about a house, okay, and I didn't do the declaration before, and after after I just pay the tax, I just pay a tax. I don't know who sell my information. And the declaration company, they call me every day. Okay, that's as I don't know which part has problem. So, but my personal data is leaked. Okay, uh, uh, and responsibility is unclear when multiple agencies and companies are involved, and many citizens lack of awareness or real channels to defend their digital rights. For example, we can if we I don't know the in TikTok, but in TikTok in China, if we comment some bad words, it will for it will lock your it will lock about your account. Your account will be locked, and the police will call you like that. Uh, cause but some words they are not they are not break law, so it's still has many policy gap and with in our real life. Okay, these gaps are we can trust and make efficiency come to at the cost of rights protection. And this paper I use a few China cases and show how digital governance can both build and we can trust. Okay. For example, the large scale data integration system highlight problems like unclear data sharing, limited ways to challenge decision, and weak responsibility lies. Okay, the research most of the research shows that people trust they trust the government or not depends on their real experience, not just efficiency. Because some people will refuse bad service if they feel their data was invaded, was leaked. Okay. In the end, trust depends on whether citizens feel their rights truly protected. Okay. And the final part is about recommendation and conclusion. Okay, this paper, my research provided some policies recommendation to better protect the digital rights. Reform need to work as a whole package, combining law, administrative rules, and platform design. And I have to mention that if uh, even though I give some policy recommendation, but actually in the practices in our offline, but most Chinese governments they are not obey the rule. They are the rule is the rule, but I don't have a good good users. So it's still have a long way to go, a long way to improving. Okay, in conclusion, China's government has brought big efficiency gains, but its long-term success depends on whether people trust it and feel their rights are protected. This study argued that my study argued that digital human rights protection isn't just a technical issue, but a government challenge. Okay, the problem in the we can see and we can touch is very common. So uh, that's all of my research. Thank you. And this research is related about my part of PhD research. The author is get some most help from my member of the committee. And thank you very much.